My name is Amber Nelson, and I'm going to be talking about the effects of attending a formal preschool program and its relation to kindergarten academic achievement. This is for the University of West Alabama School of Graduate Studies. So we have a problem, and that problem is that students are lacking that high quality preschool education, and it's affecting our performance on the STAR Early Literacy and Math reports. So according to Renaissance 2017, the STAR assessments, they're providing educators with data, and that data tells us what we need to know in order to perform response to intervention. Response to intervention is our Tier 1, Tier 2, and Tier 3 supports for our students. Um, that would tell us whether or not our students are not meeting the state requirements and the promotion criteria for kindergarten in these early grades. And what we're seeing is that there are trends of weaknesses. In the STAR assessment, it explains those strengths and weaknesses of students and tells what our educators should focus on with our students. We are going to show that Redland Elementary School has a need for a formal preschool program, and that high quality, we're going to talk about the high quality preschool program in its relation to daycare programs, which include Mother's Day Out, a state funded child care, privately owned child care centers, or students who have no formal child care when entering kindergarten. So we have our original data, and as you can see, when we talk about our formal preschool program, Valentini states that a full day is what we need to show sufficient data. So when we look at formal preschool programs, they will not be half-day programs. Those will be our full-day programs so that we have the sufficient data that we need to prove that they are showing academic advances in students. This orange line right here represents our formal preschool program, and it scores on the STAR Early Literacy Report. This gray line right here is our no formal child care, and then our yellow line is the daycare program. These right here represent years. This will be 2017, 18, 19, 20, and 21. And we have the STAR Mathematics Score Report. And again, we see the formal preschool program, the no formal child care, and then the daycare program. And as you can see in both graphs, especially in the STAR Mathematics graph, that our formal preschool program is showing higher STAR reports. This graph is by Warren 2018, and this graph is for children in formal childhood education. So formal preschool programs at ages 3 and 4, and it's showing the number of days per week that children were read to. So as you can see, that children that were in a preschool program at ages 3 and 4, right here, were typically read to more than students who were not in a formal preschool program. And the importance of reading to students is that it has more academic advances, their short-term cognitive benefits from reading to children, and those are what we are seeing when they enter kindergarten. So we want to make sure that we mention that Redland Elementary School already provides all students for 30 minutes of Tier 2 instruction in the area of reading. This is for the Literacy Act that the state has mandated, and we're trying to increase our STAR performance in our students already. We want to show that students who have formal preschool education are developmentally more ready for the kindergarten standards at kindergarten entry. And what we're seeing is that many students who are not attending those programs are not meeting those competence standards that are so important. We're seeing those effects of formal preschool in relation to our academic achievement. So we want to encourage our parents to register their children for this new preschool program at Redland Elementary School. So our experiment will be a qualitative experimental design for our STAR Early Literacy and Math reports, what we're going to draw is those math reports for our students. We're going to put them into different categories. That will be group A through E. Our group A is an experimental group of students who are enrolled in the Redland Elementary Preschool Program for ages 3 and 4. They will be entering kindergarten at ages 5 or 6. Our group B is an experimental group with Redland Child Development Center, and let me clarify, that is a daycare center, not a formal preschool program. This will be ages 0 to 4 and enter kindergarten at ages 5 and 6. Group C is an experimental group with informal child care from ages 0 to 4 and enter kindergarten at ages 5 or 6. And then our group D is a control group, and that is a daycare from ages 0 to 3 and preschool at ages 3 to 4. And then we have our group E, which is another control group of informal child care from ages 0 to 3 and enter preschool at ages 3 to 4. So what we're going to do is we're going to survey all of our students who are coming into kindergarten. They will be completing a survey to tell us whether or not they attended a formal preschool program, what program they attended, whether they attended a daycare program, what daycare program was attended, or if they had no formal child care at all. There will be a weekly administration of CBMs, which are a measurement to see student growth in between the quarterly STAR assessments. And then our instructional coaches will pull the data from our STAR assessments and weekly CBMs, and we'll put them in categories based on the experimental and control groups. And during our collaboration, this will be addressed during our quarterly data meetings. So we will administer the surveys, determine the source of child care received, and determine the need for a state-funded preschool program at Redland Elementary School, and that's going to be utilized by the STAR Early Literacy reports and the STAR Mathematics reports. So again, I stated that we'll compare the results from the first quarter of school to the last quarter of school, although the data will be collected over all 4 quarters. We will compare the first and the last. To determine that our experiment is ethical, we will need parental consent and authorization for a minor to serve as a subject in research. We'll also consider students who receive specialized instruction or accommodations, students who have chronic illnesses or require excessive absences. Students with frequent behavioral infractions will be included as well. To determine validity, we'll have continuous progress monitoring, quarterly STAR CBM of the early literacy and mathematics assessments. We'll use a large sampling of students, and again, we'll counter in those excessive absences, withdrawal from schools and districts, and also the teacher absences and the needs for long-term subs, because we do have excuse me. We do have teachers that have maternity leaves or other leaves that need to be accounted for when a sub comes in and someone else does the CBM. That may make the results differ. Previously, students who did not attend formal preschool scored higher in relation to students who did not previously students who attended a formal preschool program scored higher in relation to the students who did not on the STAR assessments. So students who have enrolled in the new Redland preschool program will show more academic achievement through CBM and STAR assessments, and that new data will suggest that there will be an increase in enrollment in formal preschool programs, causing an increase in academic achievement. So the experimental group is restrictive because we're looking at the formal preschool program at Redland Elementary School, and that it's causing our control group to be, our experimental A group to be a little more narrow. So we want to broaden that. We're going to look at instead all children who have received a formal preschool education, as long as it is formal. Our group B should be broadened to various daycare centers in order to increase that validity. And then in order to have more refined results, weekly CBM should be eliminated because STAR testing is more representative of original data growth and student achievement. And we have our references. These are all the sources that gave us the contributions to our research and design. Thank you so much for listening to this presentation.